A picture is worth 1,000 words. But what if a picture is worth a life? What if a single, fleeting image captures the final moments before tragedy strikes? Today, we are looking at the most memorable, haunting, and tragic photos ever taken just moments before death. These are not just pictures. They are windows into the final seconds of a life, a chilling glimpse of the calm before the storm. From selfies with wild animals to portraits of assassins, these are the stories behind the most unforgettable last photos ever taken. Case 1. Ronaldo Dagsa, New Year's Day, 2011. In the bustling metropolis of Manila, Philippines, the air was thick with the smell of fireworks and the sound of joyful celebrations. In the city of Caloocan, Councilman Ronaldo Dagsa, a 35-year-old public servant known for his dedication to his community, was enjoying a quiet celebration with his family. As the clock struck midnight and a new year began, Dagsa, like so many others around the world, reached for his camera to capture the moment. He gathered his wife, Arlene, his daughter, and his mother-in-law for a photo, a simple, happy memory to mark the beginning of 2011. As he framed the shot, with his family smiling back at him, he was completely unaware that he was also framing his own killer. In the background of the photo, just feet away from his unsuspecting family, a man in a baseball cap can be seen, his arm outstretched, pointing a .45 caliber pistol directly at Dagsa. The photograph, taken in the split second before the trigger was pulled, is a chilling and surreal image of a man unknowingly documenting his own murder. The sound of the gunshot ripped through the festive atmosphere, a brutal and shocking end to the celebration. Dagsa collapsed to the ground, the camera falling from his hands. His family, their smiles turning to screams of horror, rushed to his side. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. The bullet had torn through his chest, causing massive internal bleeding. Ronaldo Dagsa was pronounced dead on arrival. The photo, however, would become the key to unlocking the mystery of his murder. When police examined the camera, they found the chilling image of the gunman, his face clearly visible. The photo was a gift from beyond the grave, a final act of a public servant dedicated to justice. The shooter was quickly identified as Arnel Buenaflor, a known car thief and gang member. Dagsa, in his role as a councilman, had been instrumental in Gonzalez's arrest the previous year. The murder was a cold-blooded act of revenge. Armed with the irrefutable evidence of the photograph, police launched a manhunt for Gonzalez. He was arrested just days later, along with an accomplice who had acted as a lookout. The photo, Dagsa's last gift to his family and his community, was presented as evidence in court. Arnel Buenaflor was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, his face frozen in time, a permanent and chilling testament to his own brutal crime. The story of Ronaldo Dagsa is a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the chilling reality that sometimes the greatest danger is the one you never see coming. His final photograph is a powerful and tragic legacy, a single image that speaks volumes about a man's dedication to justice and the ultimate price he paid for it. Case 2. Dar Patel. On a crisp autumn day in September 2014, a group of 5 friends from Rutgers University decided to escape the city and explore the natural beauty of the Apshawa Preserve in New Jersey. Among them was 22-year-old Dar Patel, a student with a passion for the outdoors. The friends were hiking, laughing, and documenting their adventure with photos, creating memories of a perfect day. Their idyllic afternoon took a dramatic turn when they spotted a black bear. For most people, a close encounter with a 300-pound predator would be a signal to retreat, to slowly and calmly back away and give the animal its space. But for this group of friends, it was a photo opportunity they couldn't resist. They began taking pictures of the bear, their excitement overriding their sense of caution. Even as the bear began to follow them, they continued to snap away, seemingly oblivious to the growing danger. Patel's phone, later recovered by police, tells the story of their fatal miscalculation. It contains a series of photos of the bear, each one closer and more menacing than the last. The final image is a terrifying close-up of the bear's face, its eyes fixed on the camera, just feet away. It was at that moment that the group's excitement turned to terror. They panicked and ran, a decision that would seal Patel's fate. Their flight triggered the bear's predatory instincts, and it gave chase. Patel was attacked from behind, the bear's powerful jaws and claws inflicting devastating injuries to his head, neck, and torso. When emergency services arrived, they found a scene of unimaginable horror. The bear was still guarding Patel's body, a grim and territorial display. They had no choice but to shoot and kill the animal. Patel's phone, bearing the marks of the bear's teeth, was recovered from the scene, a silent and chilling witness to his final terrifying moments. The story of Dar Patel is a tragic and cautionary tale about the dangers of underestimating wildlife. In an age of social media and the relentless pursuit of the perfect photo, it is a stark reminder that some photo opportunities are best left untaken. A selfie is not worth a life. Dar Patel's last photo is a chilling legacy, a permanent and tragic reminder of a young life cut short by a fatal and avoidable mistake. Case 3. Titan Submersible. In the summer of 2023, the world was held in suspense by the unfolding drama of the Titan, an experimental submersible that had vanished into the abyssal depths of the Atlantic Ocean. The vessel, operated by the controversial company OceanGate, was on a high-stakes tourist expedition to the wreck of the Titanic, a graveyard of maritime history lying more than 12,000 feet below the surface. On board were 5 souls, a mix of wealthy adventurers and the company's own CEO, all united by a desire to witness the world's most famous shipwreck. For days, a massive international search and rescue operation was underway, a desperate race against time to find the missing sub before its limited oxygen supply ran out. The world watched and waited and hoped for a miracle. But before the Titan began its final fatal descent, a last image of the vessel was captured and shared with the world. A viral TikTok video, posted by a young videographer named Abby Jackson, shows her smiling on the deck of the support ship, the Polar Prince, as the Titan is gently lowered into the water behind her. It is a seemingly innocuous image, a snapshot of a routine operation. But in retrospect, it is a haunting and poignant image, the last photo of the Titan before it was swallowed by the sea. The passengers, including British billionaire Hamish Harding, French explorer and Titanic expert Paul-Henri Nargeolet, and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his teenage son, Suleiman, had each paid $250,000 for a seat on the submersible. They were participating in a form of extreme tourism, a high-risk adventure that had been red-flagged by many in the deep-sea exploration community. Concerns had been raised about the Titan's unconventional design, its lack of certification, and the company's cavalier attitude towards safety. Less than 2 hours into the dive, communication with the Titan was lost. The world held its breath, but there would be no miracle. Days later, a remotely operated vehicle discovered a debris field on the ocean floor, not far from the bow of the Titanic. The debris was from the Titan. The submersible had suffered a catastrophic implosion, the immense pressure of the deep ocean crushing it in an instant. All 5 people on board were killed. The last photo of the Titan is a haunting image of a vessel on the brink of disaster, a final glimpse of a doomed voyage. It is a stark and tragic reminder that even with all the money and technology in the world, the ocean remains a powerful and unforgiving force, and that the pursuit of adventure, without due regard for the risks, can have the most devastating of consequences. Case 4. Alexis Vergos. On January 5, 2026, the idyllic island of Koh Samui, Thailand, was the setting for a romantic getaway for 22-year-old Frenchman Alexis Vergos and his girlfriend. The couple was exploring the island's natural beauty, and their travels had brought them to the stunning Nam Muang 2 waterfall, a popular destination for tourists seeking a taste of paradise. With its cascading water and lush green surroundings, it was the perfect spot for a photo. But for Vergos, the designated viewing area, with its safety barriers and warning signs, was not enough. He wanted a more dramatic shot, a more memorable selfie to commemorate his trip. Ignoring the clearly posted warnings, he and his girlfriend climbed over the safety barriers and made their way to the slippery, moss-covered rocks at the very edge of the waterfall. As Vergos was posing for a photo, a smile on his face, he lost his footing on the treacherous surface. In an instant, his romantic getaway turned into a nightmare. He fell, plunging tens of meters into the rocky pool below. The impact was devastating. He suffered fatal head injuries and was killed instantly. His girlfriend, who had witnessed the horrific fall, was left in a state of shock and despair. Rescue teams were called to the scene, and they faced a difficult and dangerous task. Vergos's body was wedged between the rocks in the turbulent water at the base of the waterfall. It took hours for them to recover his body, a tragic end to a young life filled with promise. The incident prompted local authorities to once again plead with tourists to respect the safety warnings and to stay within the designated areas. The story of Alexis Vergos is a heartbreaking and all too common reminder that the quest for the perfect selfie can have deadly consequences. His last photo, a smiling selfie just moments before his fall, is a tragic testament to a risk that was not worth taking, a permanent and painful reminder of a life cut short by a single, reckless decision. Case 5. Mr. Hong. In the world of extreme sports, the line between triumph and tragedy is often razor-thin. In 2025, a 31-year-old Chinese climber, known to the world only as Mr. Hong, learned this lesson in the most brutal way imaginable. He and a group of friends were on an unauthorized expedition to climb Nama Mountain in China, a towering peak that reaches an altitude of over 18,000 feet. It is a breathtaking and dangerous environment, a place where a single mistake can have fatal consequences. They were on a narrow, exposed ledge, a precarious perch in a world of ice and rock. They were secured by safety ropes, a standard and essential piece of equipment for any climber in such a treacherous environment. But for Mr. Hong, the ropes were an inconvenience, an obstacle in the way of the perfect selfie. He made a decision that would cost him his life. He unhooked his safety line, freeing himself from the constraints of the rope so that he could get a better shot, a more dramatic and unencumbered photo to post on social media. It was a fatal miscalculation. In the thin air and on the icy ledge, he lost his balance and fell, plunging hundreds of meters to his death. His friends could only watch in horror as he disappeared into the abyss. A rescue team was called, but it was too late. They later recovered his body, another victim of the mountain's unforgiving nature. The incident was a stark and tragic reminder of the dangers of high-altitude climbing and the absolute necessity of following safety protocols. Mr. Hong's story is a tragic example of how the desire for a dramatic photo, for a fleeting moment of social media glory, can lead to a fatal lapse in judgment. His last photo, a selfie on a mountain peak, is a chilling and permanent reminder that in the world of extreme sports, there is no room for error, and that no photo is worth a life. Case 6. Christopher McCandless. In the spring of 1992, a young man from a privileged background did the unthinkable. He gave away his life savings, abandoned his car, burned his cash, and walked into the Alaskan wilderness, alone and with minimal supplies. His name was Christopher McCandless, and he was on a quest for a more authentic existence, a life free from the constraints and materialism of modern society. He called himself Alexander Supertramp, and he was determined to live off the land, to test himself against the raw and unforgiving power of nature. For a time, he succeeded. He found shelter in an abandoned bus, and he managed to hunt and forage for food. He kept a journal documenting his experiences and his thoughts on life, society, and the wilderness. But as the seasons changed, his luck began to run out. The river he had crossed to reach the bus became a raging torrent, trapping him in the wilderness. His meager food supplies dwindled, and he grew weaker and weaker. In August 1992, after more than 100 days in the wild, Christopher McCandless died of starvation. He was just 24 years old. Before he died, he took one last self-portrait. In the photo, he is emaciated, his eyes hollow, a shadow of his former self. But he is holding a handwritten note that reads, "I have had a happy life, and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all." It is a haunting and powerful image, a final and tragic testament to a young man's misguided quest for meaning. McCandless's story, immortalized in Jon Krakauer's book and Sean Penn's film Into the Wild, has become a modern-day fable, a cautionary tale about the dangers of romanticizing the wilderness and the fine line between idealism and arrogance. His last photo is a heartbreaking and unforgettable image, a permanent reminder that nature is both beautiful and brutal, and that survival is not a game. It is a photo that asks us to consider the price of freedom and the cost of a dream. Case 7. Saman Kunan. In the summer of 2018, the world was united in a shared sense of hope and anxiety as it watched the dramatic rescue of a youth soccer team trapped deep inside a flooded cave in Thailand. For 18 days, the 12 boys and their coach were stranded in the darkness, their fate uncertain. A team of international divers, some of the best in the world, had gathered to attempt a rescue that seemed almost impossible. It was a story of incredible bravery, human ingenuity, and international cooperation. But the rescue came at a cost. On July 6, 2018, Saman Kunan, a 37-year-old former Thai Navy SEAL, became the only fatality of the rescue operation. He was a volunteer, a man who had left his job as a security officer at Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport to join the rescue effort. He was a hero in the truest sense of the word. Kunan was on a mission to place oxygen tanks along the treacherous, miles-long route to the chamber where the boys were trapped. It was a vital task, but also a dangerous one. On his way back from the chamber, in the dark and narrow tunnels of the cave, he ran out of air and lost consciousness. His dive partner, who was following behind him, found him and tried to revive him. But it was too late. Saman Kunan had made the ultimate sacrifice. Before his final fatal dive, a photo was taken of Kunan, smiling and giving a thumbs up. It is a poignant and powerful image, a final glimpse of a hero who was about to give his life to save others. His death was a tragic loss, a devastating blow to the rescue team and to the entire nation of Thailand. But his sacrifice was not in vain. A few days later, all 12 boys and their coach were brought out of the cave, alive and safe. Saman Kunan was hailed as a national hero. His funeral was attended by thousands, and he was posthumously promoted and awarded the Knight Grand Cross of the Most Exalted Order of the White Elephant, one of Thailand's highest honors. His last photo is a reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, and that the greatest acts of courage are often performed in the darkest of places. It is a testament to the power of selflessness, and a tribute to a man who gave his life so that others might live. These are the photos that haunt us, the images that capture the final, fleeting moments before a life is cut short. They are a reminder that death can come at any time, in any place, and that sometimes the most ordinary moments can become the most tragic. They are a testament to the power of a single image, a single moment, to tell a story that will never be forgotten.